Campbell was there, actress Jamie King was there, Jay was there, B was there, and he rented this house. And we were supposed to do this rap party for this photo shoot. We rented this house, and we were watching LeBron play. And after the game, it had to have been like 10 or 11 o'clock. So we getting ready to party. Mind you, it's all adults. There was a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old teenage Latin girl that was there, and I think she had to leave because she had school and she had to do homework, but she brought her mother with her. So it was no funny business going on, which I could respect that. So when 11 o'clock hit, we turned on the music, we started drinking, and then out of nowhere came these young children. I don't know where they came from. For a rap party at 11 o'clock at night, drinking, loud music, and us dancing wild, like, I don't know where these kids came from. And then I happened to sit down because I was dancing with one of the assistants. And I sat next to this child, and the child sat next to Beyonce. So I hear B say something about, doesn't this look sexy, or isn't this sexy? And in my mind, and mind you, I'm not awakened as I'm awakened now. So in my mind, I'm like, what did she just say? And then I didn't pay no attention to it. And then, obviously the liquor took hold of me and I had to leave. So I said bye to everybody and left. But those kids remained. I don't know if those kids were from the photo shoot themselves, but the fact that these kids came around adults during drinking hours or partying hours was already alarming to me. So when I hear something like this happens, I can't really discount it and say, oh, he could never do this, because I'm hearing stories, I'm seeing it with my own eyes, and I've been in situations where something don't sound or look right, and it's usually involving children.
Do you really think Tony Buzbee, who's a powerhouse trial attorney out of Houston, Texas, who's taken down monster verdicts and literally just got appointed by the Attorney General to take on investment firms on behalf of Texas, moves forward on a lawsuit if it's a bluff? It just doesn't make sense to me. You got to believe that Buzbee would say, hey, look, I'm not going to allow this case to come down to a he said, she said. Buzbee knows that the anonymous victim is going to have to be disclosed. They know this anonymous victim is going to have to take depositions. So there has to be more evidence. A bluff would be, hey, I sent you a demand letter saying that we believe you caused these injuries to my client. We're asking for this much money. You say no, and nothing happens. Buzbee didn't do that. He called his bluff and he took it public. And in fact, he went as far as to say, you know what, we're amending the complaint where we had you as celebrity A that was watching the rape, but now we have enough evidence and believe you were the one who actually committed the rape. Now, John Carter's team will attack that and they're going to say, you didn't even know what you were doing. But my point is, this can't be a bluff. And my point is, I don't understand what Jay-Z is doing coming out in the public. He's putting out these statements that Buzbee's going to use against him. Literally, Carter is saying he represents the heinous nature, he understands it, and that it rises to the level that it's so bad because it's that it should be a criminal prosecution. I could think of nothing better as a trial attorney to use those words against a defendant in a deposition. Remember, you're in the civil context. Buzbee's going to be able to depose everybody. He's going to be able to get to Combs. He's going to be able to get to Carter. He's going to be able to get to witnesses. They're talking about limousine drivers. Now, yes, there may be a victim issue, but at the end of the day, everybody says, hey, this was 24 years ago. Yeah, let me know how that turned out for Bill Cosby. At the end of the day, I don't understand why Carter's people are letting him get out there and plead this innocence. I get it from a position that you want to get out in front of the jury, you want to claim your innocence. I just think that they're messing with the wrong tactic by trying to attack the trial lawyer, because this is not a shakedown of Vontae's situation. This is a real heavyweight lawyer that knows what he's doing.
Y'all, Jay-Z might have 99 problems right now, but it looks like the biggest one is Mama Tina. Cause why did she just basically confirm that the lawsuit against Jay-Z has some truth to it? Ever since Tony Buzbee and his client named Jay alongside Diddy, the internet has basically gone haywire and have started dragging Beyonce into it too, naming her as Jay-Z's co-conspirator and the other female celebrity that was in the room that day. And y'all know Tina Knowles doesn't have time to be playing games when it comes to her children. Between Jay and Beyonce, Tina is always going to defend and protect her daughter, even if they have to cut Jay-Z off to do that.
I think she should have left him after Lemonade. I think we should have stopped the album at Don't Hurt Yourself or Sorry and kept it moving, because he's always been a liability to me. He's ran around the wrong people since the beginning of his career, and probably even before that. And that's always been questionable to me. And there's been some sus things that he said in the past, which is why I don't necessarily put this past him. And then you put that on top of the fact that Beyonce was 18 when they met and he was 31, according to her. And that is weird. It's always been weird. We've always talked about this, just not loudly. And it is possible that Beyonce is a victim of this.
2024 has been a lot of things, but let me tell you, the last thing any of us expected was for the Carters to be dragged into any major drama. Jay-Z and Beyonce have always been private, doing their thing low-key, and they only ever talk to us when they want our hard-earned coin. So imagine everyone's surprise when Jay-Z dropped a statement out of nowhere blasting Tony Buzbee and the lawyer involved in the lawsuit, implicating him for messing around with a 13-year-old girl. Now, Tony has been making a name for himself with the whole Diddy thing, and he's been gathering victims left, right, and center. Right now, his firm is representing over 100 victims who have legit claims against Diddy. One thing he's been doing a lot of behind the scenes is going to meet other celebrities who victims have named and asking them to pay up if they don't want this case to become public. It's sort of like legal extortion, but these celebs are gonna pay because who wants their brand destroyed along with the diddlers? Well, it looks like Jay-Z ain't cut from the same cloth, and from his statement, he made it clear that he wasn't gonna be giving Tony a penny and was going to fight to clear his name. If you know anything about Jay-Z and Beyonce, they are perfectly media trained, and anything either of them put out is perfectly scripted. Even when Jaguar Wright was saying all sorts of things, they never went for her directly. All they had to do was pull up to Piers Morgan and he folded like washed sheets. Now, folks have been pointing fingers at Jay, saying that he was next, but no one actually believed that his lawsuit against him was going to be a thing. Do you want to know what made it more crazy? Jay-Z filed a petition in court for the victim to reveal her name publicly since he was getting dragged to filth online. Word is that Jay-Z already knows the name of the woman in the lawsuit. In fact, he's known her ever since he was included alongside with his bestie Diddy.
Let's talk about the statement. Let's get the details straight. Is it just me? Or did nobody catch that there was no mention of Diddy? There was no mention of Diddy. He talked about how heinous everything was. And he talked about how if all of it is true, there should be criminal charges. He talked about this and he talked about that. Of course you want there to be criminal charges so the feds can come in and cover up your crimes like they've been doing for almost 30 years. You freak. What's wrong with him? Have you been getting away with red rum for so long that you didn't think you was gonna have to pay the piper, Sean? I told you on Pierce, you will respond. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody, especially if it's not the truth. Jay-Z doesn't respond to anybody. Jay-Z doesn't, they walk off and they pretend like it doesn't even happen and the money just keeps on going. And Jay-Z doesn't respond. And Jay-Z doesn't respond. Guess what? I made you f***ing move, didn't I? I made you move, ho. I made you speak.
And let me tell you why this victim is now suddenly doing interviews and saying she made a mistake and there are inconsistencies in her story. Also, why did she do that NBC interview without the presence of her lawyer? Something definitely feels off.
You should always advocate for yourself and be a voice for yourself. You should never let what somebody else did run your life.
A 38-year-old mother from Alabama who has filed a lawsuit accusing Sean Diddy Combs and Jay-Z of raping her when she was 13 years old is speaking out to NBC News for the first time. She asked us not to reveal her identity.
What made you want to come forward and talk today?
Because I think that I've been quiet long enough about what I've been through, and it's been hard enough to be quiet, but it's a chapter of my life that I'd like to close.
An NBC News review of her account found inconsistencies with her allegations. She says that she went to the MTV Video Music Awards in 2000 to catch a glimpse of her favorite celebrities. The night of the 2000s VMAs, she says a friend drove her from Rochester, New York to Manhattan, a more than 5-hour drive. Her attorney provided NBC News with the name of the friend who has since died. The woman says she spoke to Combs' limo driver, who offered her a ride to an after party.
I stumbled upon Diddy's driver, who told me that I was exactly what Diddy was looking for.
What did you think when he said that to you?
I thought it meant that I was just pretty.
She went to a White House, she says, where she spoke to musicians Benji Madden and his brother.
I'm talking to Benji Madden about his tattoo because, I have about his tattoo that's the Last Supper, because I have a religious background. So it was just something to talk about.
In a statement to NBC News, a representative of the Maddens confirmed that they did not attend the 2000 VMAs and that they were on tour in the Midwest at the time. At the after party, she says she had a drink that made her feel woozy. Then she says Combs and Carter took turns while a female celebrity watched.
JC comes in and rapes me. He at that point I was fighting, trying to get away from him, and he put his hand over my mouth and told me to stop it, cut the.
After the alleged rape, she says she ran to a gas station where she called her father, who picked her up and drove her home.
We rode home in silence. He didn't ask me what happened. He didn't ask me what I did or where I was.
In an interview with NBC News, her father said he could not verify the claims. Quote, "I felt like I would remember that, and I don't. I have a lot going on, but I mean, that's something that would definitely stick in my mind," he said. When we asked the woman about the contradictions in a phone interview on Friday, she said that she stands by her statements. "I have made some mistakes," she said. "Honestly, what is the clearest is what happened to me."
And ever since the lawsuit dropped, the Carters have been on major damage control. They all appeared on the red carpet smiling for cameras alongside their daughter Blue Ivy. I mean, 50 Cent was never gonna miss an opportunity to troll Jay-Z. And as soon as he saw Jay putting on a smile on the red carpet, he said, quote, "Jay-Z said, they said I raped the kid. Everybody get dressed. We going to see Mufasa. LOL," end quote. Beyonce also announced that she would be performing at the football halftime show on Christmas Day. Beyonce's foundation even donated $100,000 to the University of Houston's Criminal Justice Clinic. And guess who went to the University of Houston? Tony Buzbee. Folks are saying that Beyonce is from Houston too, and this means nothing. But couldn't she have made this donation months before? And why did it have to happen around the same time that her husband was slapped with a damaging lawsuit? We all know a damage control campaign when we see one. Sources claim that she was the one who forced Jay-Z to attend the recent red carpet event as a way to show that they are innocent. The Carters are reportedly working with a crisis specialist to navigate the fallout from the allegations. A source revealed, quote, "She believes the best way is to face it head on. Blue Ivy is well aware of what's going on and is intent on supporting her father in any way she can. She was there in solidarity with her dad and mom," end quote. People are still holding out, trying to give Jay-Z the benefit of the doubt and see how it all plays out. But folks aren't doing it for the love of Jay-Z. Who cares if Jay is thrown to the wolves? The reason the internet hasn't gone all in the way they did on Diddy is because Jay-Z has Beyonce. And baby, the people love Beyonce. If Jay-Z is implicated in the lawsuit and Tony is really able to prove that he's guilty, there is no way Beyonce is getting out of this scot-free. She's been with that man since she was 18 or 19 years old, and let's call a spade here. There's no way that she would have absolutely no idea what that man has been up to when they've been together for so long. It's either she knew and minded her business, or she doesn't know and is just plain naive. But Beyonce is a smart woman.
Because to my understanding, he got with Beyonce at around 16, 17. He was in his 30s. That's what I truly believe, because that's what the timeline add up to. But everybody was arguing in my comment section saying, oh, she was 18, she was 18, she was 18, as if that makes it any weirder. He was in his 30s, she was 18. That's gross. But let's also get into when I talked about how he took Foxy Brown's V-car when she was 14. He was like, what, 23, 24 at the time? What do you have to say about that? Allegedly. Also, what do you have to say about people extremely close to Jay-Z saying that he had huge feelings for Aaliyah when Aaliyah was underage? And lastly, Rihanna came out multiple times and said what Jay-Z did to her, saying that there's only two ways out of this hotel room. It's either through this window, and we're on the 12th floor or 20th floor or something like that, or through the door, but you have to do something to get through the door. Last but not least, y'all love to act like Diddy and Jay-Z weren't really good friends, as in friends, close friends for decades now. The only reason why they're not visibly out talking or out hanging out together, or Jay-Z didn't go to his annual event, the only reason why that's happening is because of the allegations brought up against Diddy, and Jay-Z didn't want to be around that because he didn't want whatever he was doing, allegedly, to come out right along with Diddy's stuff. That's the only reason why they're not hanging out. So... and Jay-Z frequently attended those Diddy parties. So I'm kind of confused why everybody's so surprised.
They have 3 beautiful kids together and have been married for 20 years. If Jay-Z gets on the wrong side in both the court of public opinion and the court of law, Beyonce cannot escape the backlash. Despite what's coming, word is that Beyonce plans to stick by her husband and present a united family front. She has also agreed not to bring her sister around or have Solange around Jay-Z so they won't be photographed together, to remind everyone of the time she imprinted her hand on his face and her foot in his behind. But even if Beyonce is Jay-Z's ride or die, it looks like Mama Tina doesn't play like that. Her IG page liked a post that said, quote, Jay-Z and Diddy named in lawsuit alleging of girl 13, end quote. Now she did try to backpedal and quickly came online to say, quote, I was hacked. As you all know, I don't play about my family. If you see something uncharacteristic of me, just know it was not me, end quote. Then she followed it up by captioning the post, quote, no weapon fashioned against my family shall prosper, end quote. Come on, do you believe that her page was really hacked? We know a lot of stuff has gone down in 2024, but these celebs always blaming hackers when they say or do something on their account and later regret is crazy. Beyonce has lost a little over 3 million followers since then, and even though Mama Tina denied liking the post, it did confirm for folk that Jay-Z ain't all the way clean. Quote, Beyonce is about to catch more heat for this man than Jay-Z himself. Shaking my head, end quote. Quote, Jay-Z PR stunt failed miserably. People have finally woken up. They don't easily get impressed by Beyonce on the red carpet anymore, end quote. And another, quote, the message Jay-Z posted was condescending, narcissistic, and used victim blaming and gaslighting rhetoric. And he never not once said he didn't do it. I hope he goes down bad, end quote. Do you guys think that there's any way Jay-Z is guilty of all of this? And will Beyonce be caught in the back blow? Sound off in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And catch me in the next video. Bye, baddies.